Belle Arti, Italian for fine art. Longines crafted this fine piece of art to steal the spotlight, turn heads, and transport you back to the elegance of the 1920s. A time when style was a powerful statement of identity and optimism. Yet despite its ambition, the Belle Arti remains largely unknown. I'm Joe from Leech Watch, and this is the story of a watch that never got the attention it deserved. To truly appreciate the Belle Arti's design, we must travel back to the 1920s. The Great War had just ended, people were full of life rebuilding cities from the rubbles of tragedy. Their intense desire to start a new chapter in history of hope manifested in more extravagant decoration and flair with the new design movement, Art Deco. Art Deco wasn't just design, it was optimism made visible. A bold, geometric celebration of progress and beauty in a post-war world. Imagine you're sitting in a jazzy dance hall. You're surrounded by lacquered surfaces and furniture adorned with bold geometric patterns, and details inspired by the latest discovery of Tutankhamun. The room you're in is actually on a luxurious ocean liner SS Normandy as you're traveling to the other side of the world, a journey that has never been this easy. A car is waiting for you in the port. The smooth, aerodynamic curves are the pure embodiment of technical progress. Soon, you find yourself in a new city filled with skyscrapers like the Empire State and Chrysler Building with their striking verticality redefining the skyline. This is a new world where exuberance and glamour help you forget the tragic past and focus on the luxurious present. Now, you can't be late to your cocktail party, so you check the time on your wrist. There's the Belle Arti. The case is nearly twice as tall as it is wide, echoing the striking verticality of the skyscrapers outside. The curved tonneau case, just like the smooth, sleek lines of the car you just drove in, the precisely engineered curve of the case perfectly hug your wrist. The geometric shapes carved into the case mirror the furniture you left behind in the dance hall. Beneath the crystal, a dial, lacquered with the same delicate craftsmanship as the wall, has silver Arabic numerals that seem lifted straight from the room you're in. With its extravagantly shaped silver cathedral hands sweeping across, you remember you could have chosen this very watch with blue hands paired with diamond accents on the case. That would have been quite the typical lavish jewel of this time. So why did Longines revive the Belle Arti nearly a century later? To understand, we must take another journey back, but this time to the origins of Longines. Longines started out as a small workshop in St. Imier, Switzerland in 1832. By 1867, they were one of the first to build a complete watch factory in the Swiss watch industry. In this legendary factory, Longines pushed the frontiers of precision, elegant design, and rich legacy in sports timing and aviation. At their peak, Longines didn't just participate in Art Deco, they drove it with their geometric architectural watches of art which still remain to be collectible today. But in the 1970s, everything changed. The quartz crisis hit, where affordable, accurate Japanese quartz watches drove many Swiss watchmaking brands out of business. Longines was no exception. Due to its financial trouble, Longines became part of the Swatch Group with other brands like Omega and Tissot. To fit in, Longines had to reposition themselves as a mid-tier brand focusing more on reviving its timeless design, letting Omega be the luxurious innovator. This strategy was still the game plan in 2006, when Longines launched the Belle Arti. At the time, the watch market was flooding with oversized divers and bold chronographs. The smaller pie of the dress watch category was actually dominated with icons like the Cartier Tank and the JLC Reverso, which is another Art Deco masterpiece. Still, Longines stuck with their game plan and designed the Belle Arti as a deliberate resurrection of what the brand once was at the height of its Art Deco glory. Compared to the Cartier Tank and JLC Reverso, which started at £1,800 and £2,600 respectively, the Belle Arti's more attainable starting price of £850 was also very competitive. Disappointingly, the game plan just didn't make the cut. With low sales and popularity, Longines' ambitious tribute to Art Deco faded out of view in 2013, while Longines kept their Dolce Vita line. This rectangular watch with very familiar Roman numerals shout to me as a sad admittance of defeat from Longines and their design legacy. Now, let me tell you about my story. In 2024, I had been working at my first job for about a year when I came across this watch through another Korean YouTube video. I instantly knew that I had to have it. At the time, my collection included the Brown AW50, a watch I've reviewed in another video if you're interested in learning more about its design. To summarize, this was a watch that perfectly embodied utilitarian Bauhaus minimalism, where form follows function. By contrast, the Belle Arti stood out with its unapologetic decoration. The carved case, the flamboyant numerals, details that served no purpose other than beauty. And that was exactly the point. After all, Belle Arti, fine arts, literally means art appreciated purely for its beauty, without any need for utility. I was convinced that I had to buy the Belle Arti as the perfect juxtaposition to the clean, functional elegance of the brown. Thanks to its commercial failure and quiet discontinuation a decade earlier, I managed to find this watch on eBay for around £250. Even today, it can still be found online for under £400 to £500. I bought it for myself to celebrate landing my second full-time role as a little reward and milestone for my career. I've praised its design enough, so let me now tell you what it's actually like to wear this watch. Although this watch might seem small at first glance, with a narrow width of just 24mm, it has an impressive lug-to-lug height of 49mm. For reference, a typical 40mm watch like the Rolex Submariner has a lug-to-lug of about 48mm. But thanks to its elegantly curved case, it wraps around my 16.5cm wrist comfortably. There's also a larger men's version at 54 by 28mm, better suited for bigger wrists. Altogether, this long, narrow curved case is instantly recognizable and truly unlike most modern watches. Inside, it's powered by Longines' in-house L178 quartz movement. I fully understand and even appreciate why Longines chose a battery-powered movement for its convenience of not having to wind it every day and to keep this timeless design more affordable. However, pairing a watch that draws inspiration from 1920s mechanical timepieces with a non-mechanical movement feels a lot like a half-hearted Frankenstein. I'm also quite sensitive to the loud ticking that many quartz watches produce and to how often their second-hand miss the minute markers. Thankfully, this watch movement is quiet enough for my ears, and with the second hand displayed on a small sub-dial, any imperfections are practically invisible. As for downsides, the first was its metal bracelet it came with. I was definitely not a fan of either its design or comfort, so I quickly started looking for alternatives. That led to my second complaint. This lug width is 15mm. Going for a more common lug width of 14mm or 16 would have made it much easier for me to find straps that pair well with this watch, so I'm still on a hunt for the perfect one. The lack of lume that glows in the dark isn't surprising given this watch's focus on aesthetic beauty over practicality. And while the polished case is stunning, it's also highly prone to fingerprints and scratches. I know watches are meant to pick up marks over time, telling the story of their wear, but it still stung a little when I noticed a particularly big scratch on mine. Even so, what makes me want to keep wearing the Belle Arti is its comfort and how it adds a unique sense of flair to any outfit, whether it's a sharp suit for work, a refined tuxedo for a night out, or even with a simple leather jacket. The captivating contrast between its calm black dial and lavish silver hands set against the richly detailed case creates an interplay that draws your eyes in, inviting you to pause and appreciate it just as you would a fine piece of art in an exhibition, only this time on your wrist. If you enjoyed this story or had any questions, let me know in the comments. I'm Joe from Leech Watch, and I'll be bringing you more hidden gems from the watch world, so subscribe to stick around. Until next time.